This is Genesis's first compact luxury SUV, and today we're going to take a detailed look at the exterior details, take a look inside at all the features, get it out on the road and see just how well it drives. And I think you're going to be really impressed with what Genesis is bringing for this new 2022 GV70. Real quick, my name is Nolan. I do full reviews every single week, so if you like what you see after the video is done, be sure to subscribe down below and check out the night video I have with this GV70. But also, if you want to skip around from part to part, I put chapters in the description so you can find exactly where you want to go and go there. Let's get started. All right, let's take a look at all these exterior details and all the finishes on this Genesis GV70. So starting with the trim levels, you're going to get the base, then the select, the advanced, which we have here, and the sport prestige, depending on which engine option you go with. Now this is a brand new model for 2022, but it's got a lot of similarities to some other Genesis and some of the newest Genesis models that we have. Got this large grille in the same design with the openings below and the functional air curtain below that headlight. You've got quad beam LED headlights standard with the daytime running light running in between those headlights for a pretty slick look. You'll also see that those daytime running lights turn into the turn signals as well, and I like the look of this front end. Let me know what you think below. Now, if you want to see these quad beam LED headlights in action and all the lights with this GV70, be sure to check out my night video in the description below showing all of that off. The paint color on this GV70 is the Uyuni White. It's a $500 option. You can see the turn signals in the mirror, little chrome accents on the door handle, and then the wheels will range from 18-inch on the base up to 19-inch here, and even all the way up to 21-inch wheels. But I think these 19-inch wheels still look fine. You could obviously fit some large wheels in here, but then you lose ride comfort just a little bit. Dimensionally, it's about 185 inches long, so it's not too big, not as big as the GV80, obviously, and you get about a little over 7 inches of ground clearance. So decent size, kind of mid to compact size overall, and ground clearance is just decent. Now, one thing to note is you've got roof rails up above, you've got chrome accents on the top of the door handles, and then you've got this chrome piece that comes all the way back into this fastly sweeping down rear end. And these taillights look exactly like they do on other Genesis models, and they match the headlights. Those are LED taillights with the red turn signals. As you can see, you've got the badging on the back, and then you've got these vertical kind of exhaust finishers back here as well. You'll get different ones on the 3.5 turbo models. Genesis gives us a hands-free liftgate option where you actually just stand right back here for a few seconds. You can turn this feature off or on, and then it will automatically open up. It's not the foot activated one or a hand activated one. You literally just stand here, and as long as you have the key fob on you, it'll open up. And if you don't want to do that, if you just want to open it with the key fob, you can open it from the inside. And the other thing is, when this is closed, instead of reaching down here where it's usually dirty, you push a button right here to open it, so you don't have to get your hands dirty. Now, taking a deeper dive at this cargo area, there's about 29 cubic feet behind here, which isn't too bad considering the luxury class. A little bit better than that Lexus NX I was just in, but you've got to keep in mind this deep or steep slope right there. So if you stack stuff up, you're going to be somewhat limited. But you got a little cargo net on the side, you've got LED lights back here, a 12-volt power outlet. There's even a little spot for like a cargo net or grocery bag hook, and levers to fold the seats down. I was also able to easily throw my jogging stroller back here with big old wheels on it without a problem. And then under here, one thing that I like is a little bit of quick storage for some jumper cables or something like that. And then there is a spare tire under there. The Lexus NX I was just in did not have a spare tire, so I'm glad to see that. And I have not used these pull tabs yet, but let's go ahead and pull that, fold that down. You've got a 60/40 split, and that is pretty flush and pretty flat with this load floor right here. So that definitely opens up this cargo space quite a bit. Genesis gives you the proximity key standard, and you'll see you have a ton of buttons on here, but you also have remote start standard as well, and let me show you some more. Of course, it's got the sensor back here, and then you can lock it with that, and the mirrors are power folding, but the sensor's only on the front doors and not the back doors, which is a little bit disappointing for a luxury vehicle. But on this advanced model, let's say like right now we're in a parking spot. I'm gonna remote start it. Let's say that, you know, somebody parked right next to you. It's really tight fit. You've got these buttons on here. You can remote start it, and then you can press and hold, and the vehicle will actually move backwards out of the parking spot for you if you want to. Or if you want to park out of the parking spot, press it forward, and then it's going to move forward for you. So You know, it's kind of gimmicky. I've never used it, but it's something that you could do, or it could be a party trick. And that's on the advanced model. Now, taking a look at the front seats in this GV70, the first thing to know is that you've got the entry-exit system where the seat and steering wheel can automatically move, so it's a breeze to get in. Now, over on the door, you're going to get soft materials up here, a nice soft armrest here as well, good grab handle, nice looking finish on the buttons, and our memory settings are right there on the door. Plus, my bottle fits. It's kind of a tight squeeze in the door pocket, but it still works. The standard seat is going to be leatherette, 12-way power adjustable, but we have the optional leather seat. Ours is heated and ventilated. I'll talk about that in a second. You've got nice big bolstering on the sides right there. You've got some perforations in here. Decent bolstering on the bottom. Got this kind of piping and the stitching right here. And then you've got 4-way lumbar support with 12-way power adjustment. There's an upgrade that you can get that I'll talk about in a second. One note is I thought this headrest was a little bit intrusively far forward initially, but I've gotten used to it and it doesn't seem to be too bad. And now that the vehicle's on, you'll see right here we've got our controls for our ventilation and heating. So they're pretty small controls. It does take a little bit of getting used to, like fine touch. You know, if you want to adjust it while you're driving, it's a little annoying. Heating is standard, but ventilation is an option, which we have here. You also see that we have a heated steering wheel, and this entire steering wheel is heated and it feels really nice. It's kind of a unique like dual spoke design here. So you don't have a big spoke in the middle. So maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Let me know what you think, but the whole wheel is heated. Now, comfort-wise, I've been driving this for about a week, probably a couple 100 miles, and I've been comfortable the whole time. Right away, I didn't like the headrest, but I got used to it, and I think it's just fine. Heating, ventilation. There's no extra adjustments on this 2.5 turbo, but you can get 16-way adjustment on the 3.5 liter turbo, something we don't get on this model. One nice thing about our advanced model is the passenger seat even gets 4-way lumbar support and its own entry-exit system as well. So your passenger's gonna have a breeze getting in and out. Another thing with the seats that is optional, this is kind of cool, is called Smart Posture Care. This is an optional feature, so you can enter in your own settings. So me, I'm 5'9", and we'll just, you know, not talk about my weight, but then you can go down and do a posture analysis. Once the analysis comes back, it will give you a rating. So it'll kind of recommend, and it actually says I have very good recommended posture where I'm currently sitting. So it'll get you a comfortable position if you can't find yourself to be comfortable in here. Now climbing into the second row, it's not as small as you would expect, and you've got nice material on the door, same with the armrest, and then still a little cubby down there, and the same nice finish as you see in the front. This window shade is actually on the advanced model, so that is really nice to see as well for kids. And then these are still the leather seats, just like you get in the front row. Legroom isn't excellent, but not bad for this size of a vehicle. And for those of you with a car seat, I can't quite fit it behind me, but pretty darn close to where I would like to sit, so my wife can still be comfortable in the front seat. Couple things to note, we've got air conditioning vents right there. Then there's just a big giant hole for storage, 2 USB charging ports, and a 3-prong outlet. Now, we don't have our own controls back here. The 3.5 liter turbo models will, and I'm guessing that's gonna go right here. So you have your own climate controls, but you can still control the climate from the main screen for the back seat up there. Now, legroom, sitting behind myself at 5'9", put my knees right here. I've got enough space, got good foot space here as well. There is a pretty good size hump in the middle, but overall legroom is not bad for this size of a vehicle. And I can easily sit up tall. I mean, there's plenty of headroom in here despite the very curvy posture in the back, and these seats can recline a little bit, so you can get extra comfy. And right next to us, we've got a center folding armrest. One complaint is that with the advanced model, you would maybe expect heated seats in the back. Maybe they get them in Canada, but we don't in the US. You have to go to the 3.5 liter turbo for that. If you want to sit behind the passenger in the back seat, have somebody drive you around or whatever, you kind of have executive controls right here where you can actually move this front seat out of the way. So you can sit back there and give yourself a ton of room if you want to. Now, as we take a look at the rest of the interior of this Genesis, you're going to see a unique design, but a very nice and easy layout to live with nice materials pretty much all around. So I talked to you about the materials on the door. You get some ambient lighting in here as well, which I'll talk about. Easy to access controls over here. The nice, comfortable, heated, leather-wrapped steering wheel. These controls are very similar to what you'll see on some Hyundai models as well in terms of their appearance. But what do you think of this steering wheel design? Do you like the big giant thing coming across with no spoke in the middle? Let me know what you think. You do have little paddle shifters here. You also have rain sensing windshield wipers that you'll see on that stock. And then in front, this might be where some of you are a little disappointed. This does come with an all-digital display, but only on the 3.5-liter turbo. Otherwise, you're with this one, which has the digital display in the middle and TAC to the right. So analog on the left, digital to the right. This really just reminds me of Hyundai in terms of the information that you can see, like driver assist stuff, compass, otherwise just kind of your basic trip computer stuff. So it gives you what you need. You know, no complaints with that, but if you wanted something a little more extravagant, you'd have to go with the 3.5-liter turbo. Same thing with a head-up display. There is no head-up display on the 2.5-liter turbo model, but you can get one on the 3.5-liter turbo. But look at this. So first of all, you see this little button right there? That's a fingerprint sensor. Now, you can start the car with that if you use the digital key from Genesis and have your own driver profile as well. So it'll just recognize your finger. You don't have to use that. You can just start it with this and have your own profile pop up. But we have the optional leatherette panels in here. So it's leatherette across the dash, leatherette on the door. And I like the cohesiveness of everything in here. It just seems to fit well together, work well together, but still give you functionality at the same time. So for those of you that love big screens, this 14.5-inch screen is standard. Obviously, it's a little different than some of the dimensions of other screens because it's just so wide. But this is the home screen. This is what it defaults to. You have a control dial that you can use. This is still actually touchscreen, but it's so far away that you probably won't actually use it as a touchscreen. Everything works well in here. It's easy to navigate. It definitely does take some getting used to though. There's a lot of settings you can customize. You still have the nature sounds that you get with some of the Hyundai vehicles as well. So you can use those if you want to. You do get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it is not wireless. That is one thing. So it looks very nice on here. It works well. I don't really have any complaints with that. But as you'll see down here, you have to be plugged in. So there's a plug right there and a wireless charger. There's wireless charging, but no wireless CarPlay. So that's a little disappointing. If that's a big deal to you, you still have to be plugged in, which defeats the purpose of the wireless charger. One thing to note is a 9-inch speaker system is standard, but we have the optional Lexicon Premium Audio, which is a 16 speaker system. Plug your headphones in and let's go ahead and take a listen. While we're on the screen, let me shift into reverse, show you our 360 camera. So it's pretty clear. You can change the view as well. So check that out. You can look at the tires. If you turn the wheel, you're gonna see dynamic lines over there. So it works well. Doesn't have as many camera angles as some, but you can see a round view camera like that. It looks pretty cool. I think it's pretty awesome. In fact, you know, since you can go around the vehicle like this, you can pretty much see everything that you need to. Another camera this advanced model is going to give you is the blind view monitor. Just like we see in Hyundai, if you signal to one side or the other, you have a camera that's going to show you your blind spot as you're signaling. In addition to that, you'll also get blind spot indicators built in to the mirrors. And one thing I didn't mention is both mirrors are automatic dimming as well. Coming down to the climate controls, you can see the little ambient lighting around there. I'll talk about that in a second. So you've got dual zone for you and your passenger, but you still get controls for the rear seats as well. So I like how you can control the temperature and fan speed back there, heated buttons, ventilated buttons. When you're driving, my one complaint here is that these are touch sensitive right here. You know, I still miss having real buttons, but you have to be pretty precise when you're driving if you want to get that adjusted, but not a big deal. These have a nice feel to them. I like how they actually stick out. Everything works well, and then you still have some shortcuts for your radio down here, and the star button on this and on the steering wheel you can customize to go to whatever you want it to. Down here we get our parking sensor, drive mode, camera button, volume button, everything to control the main screen. This control knob looks really nice. It's got this like interesting design to it as well, and you can even kind of touch and swipe on top of here, or you can actually press it down and move it. And then you got your shifter right behind it. So it's odd that they're the same shape and really close to each other. You know, I'm not a huge fan of that, but look at the detail in this shifter. It's just so interesting. I don't even know what exactly it's made out of, but one thing I like is that we don't have cheap plastic surrounding this. We actually have nice material around this down here. But if I may, one little complaint is that where my hand rests, it's closer to the shifter, which is where I feel like these controls should be, because you have to actually kind of reach up in order to do the volume and the controls for this, instead of where your arm is most likely going to rest. But you know, you should have it on the steering wheel anyways. But you know, I could see some people wanting to switch these around, but it's not really a big deal. Then the couple of USB charging ports, and this is the wireless charging pad, so it's kind of nice to be able to just throw your phone in there, have it out of sight, out of mind. But if you want Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you're gonna have to have it plugged in. Got no trouble with these cup holders. They fit large bottles, small bottles, and then this armrest is nice and soft right here with the stitching. And look at the detail down here. I'll show you this in just a second with the backlighting. But in here, a separate little tray, a 12-volt power outlet, and actually a pretty good sized storage area. Genesis also gives you a softly lined locking glove box, and then up overhead, you get a standard automatic dimming rearview mirror, and there are 3 garage controls on here as well. And you still get a sunglass holder right here. We've got all LED interior lighting, which does a really nice job lighting everything up. We've got vanity light and mirror, and then the entire visor is going to slide out. But we also have one more thing. If I move this back, we've got a panoramic roof where this front will open up, or you can have the whole glass open like that. This is on the Select package and up. But one of my favorite things is the adjustable ambient lighting. So the adjustable ambient lighting comes on the advanced model. I've got a full video showing this off if you want to check it out. You've got backlighting all over the place, different colors. It just looks really cool. So as we jump in under the hood, a couple things to know is that you have 2 turbo options. There's no naturally aspirated engine, and the turbos aren't the only differences. When you go up to the higher turbo, you kind of get a little bit more availability of some options. But under the hood right here, we've got a direct and port injected 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder that's going to give you 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. All-wheel drive is actually standard. This isn't rear or front-wheel drive, but when you look at the driving display in there, you can see which wheels are getting power. It's definitely rear-wheel drive biased according to that. And it comes with an 8-speed automatic transmission. But if you really want to have fun, you can jump up and get the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 with up to 391 horsepower or 391 pound-feet of torque. I have not driven that, but I was at an event where that vehicle was, and I know everybody that drove it absolutely loved it. You could hear it, it was fun, it was fast, it just sounded great, and you could tell it was fun to drive. Now for efficiency, miles per gallon is rated at 22 in the city and 28 on the highway for our particular 4-cylinder here. All right, y'all, let's get going on the test drive in this GV70. So first impressions of the GV70 is that it is fun and balanced. It's just a great combination of a fun driving experience as well as a somewhat sporty driving experience, especially if you go for that 3.5 liter turbo. I can just imagine that. But it feels premium and luxurious. I mean, it feels like it's got a nice planted, solid feel and solid structure overall. And if you want to know about driver assist features, this is absolutely loaded with the highway drive assist, you know, where it can automatically adjust the speed that you're going with your cruise control, the distance pacing, lane centering technology, automatic braking, all of that type of stuff. It is just loaded with everything. And I showed you the blind spot, the blind view monitor here on the screen, all sorts of goodies if you want them. Now, one thing about this turbo is that it is fairly punchy for a 4-cylinder turbo. Partial pedal, and there we go. And you might have heard some engine noise. You can adjust the amount of engine noise. It's called active sound design. You control on the main screen, so you can make it to where there's more or less engine noise. And let's do a little more throttle here, and it's pretty quick to get you going. I mean, it's punchy. For city driving and more effortless driving, you can definitely benefit from this turbo. Compared to a naturally aspirated engine, it's going to get you going a little quicker. And I gotta say, the steering on here, the weight of the steering is a little more than I thought it would be. It's still got easy maneuvering because it's actually adjustable variable ratio steering, to where at higher speeds and lower speeds it's going to differ depending on, you know, the weight of the steering wheel. When you put it in sport mode, you definitely get some good heft to it. So that is one thing. and ride comfort on here. There are times where it does feel a little firm, but I would say for the most part it is nicely smooth and appropriate for a luxury vehicle. It's not harsh. There are larger wheels available, and it's possible that with those you will have a harder, rougher ride, but I don't have experience with those. But I'm happy with this. I just got out of the Lexus NX. I think that was probably a little smoother with the ride, but the handling of this definitely outdoes that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put it in sport mode, and your gauge will change a little bit where your tachometer is, and I'll get on it in a second, but it definitely makes this a little bit of a punchier vehicle. It's gonna hold the RPMs as well. And let's go pedal down. Still holds the RPMs. It definitely lets it rev out. And this does not have the electronic damping suspension like the 3.5 liter turbo, but it still holds its own going around corners. This is pretty flat and responds well. And nobody's gonna get this model to be a burner and be super sporty. You got the 3.5 liter turbo for that. But at least the sport mode is responsive and pretty fun to drive. And the steering does get pretty darn hefty as well. I mean, it handles well. The weight of the steering feels good. And you can hug a corner pretty well at a decent clip. But if you want a relaxing driving experience, you put it in comfort, and you got a little bit lighter weight of the steering wheel, and then it's quiet. That's one thing I really like about this Genesis, is that it is quiet. We've got thicker laminated glass on the side over here. The one thing that I have noticed though is that there is a little bit more wind noise in here than the Lexus, but overall noise and road noise especially, there is definitely less road noise in here, so that is a big plus to me. It's a nice quiet interior. Daily driving, the controls I complained a little bit about, but I like the large screen. You've got good clear information right here. The seat controls are a little bit tricky to, finicky to mess with when you're driving, but otherwise mostly automatic with temperature control and all of that. So I think it's very comfortable to drive. The quietness of it is so nice, and day-to-day driving, I think you'll really enjoy it as well. Now to wrap things up, when I talk to people about Genesis, a lot of people say Genesis is killing it lately, and I think I would have to agree. They're bringing a great blend of luxury and sportiness and practicality and value in the luxury segment. This GV70 offers a lot in pretty much every single area at this price point. I recently had the 2022 Lexus NX, which is redesigned, which could be a direct competitor to this as well. It was a little bit more expensive, maybe had a couple different things this didn't, but this has some other things that doesn't quite offer. This is a little bit more fun to drive, a little bit more space in the cargo area. But what do you guys think of this GV70? If you're looking for a compact luxury SUV crossover like this is a great option. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got a couple others in the description below. Leave your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you think if you enjoyed this video. I do full reviews every single week and a variety of other different videos, so be sure to subscribe down below and leave a thumbs up. Hope you have a great day. We'll catch you next time.